The Quelnari had one universal commandment etched into every diplomatic treaty, scientific textbook, and military protocol across their glittering empire. No, do not poke the Terrans. It was less of a law and more of a survival instinct, like not licking plasma conduits or taunting space bears. The Terrans had gone dormant thousands of years ago, sealing themselves away inside massive cryo-arcs, drifting just outside the galactic core, and the rest of the universe had agreed, without debate, that this was a good thing. Unfortunately, Rivik, a third-rate xenolinguistics intern with the attention span of an asteroid and the ego of a sun god, thought ancient warnings were probably just myths, and decided to scan one of the derelict Terran arcs for extra credit. The moment his scanner pinged the hull, the arc pulsed, then hummed, then woke up. Within minutes, alarms were blaring across 5 Quelnari sectors as dozens of sleeping Terran vessels lit up like someone had just dropped a toaster into a bathtub. Inside one of the newly awakened cryo ships, a human named Lieutenant Cass Wren blinked herself awake, took one look at the flashing alerts, and muttered, "No," before demanding coffee, a full tactical brief, and someone to explain why her calendar was 3,000 years out of date. 10 minutes later, she was in a command chair wearing slippers and a bathrobe, ordering a fleet formation while simultaneously asking where the hell her crew hid the toaster strudels. Meanwhile, the Quelnari High Council was in full meltdown mode. "We don't even know what they want," cried one ambassador, while another was busy updating his will. A third suggested evacuating the galaxy. Rivik, now hiding in a janitor closet, whispered, "Maybe they'll be reasonable," which was the galactic equivalent of tossing a rock at a sleeping god and hoping it responds with a polite handshake. The Terran fleet didn't fire, they didn't threaten, they didn't even demand reparations, they just started organizing, rebuilding their comms grid, hacking into galactic networks, launching drones that offered unsolicited tech upgrades to nearby ships. One Quelnari captain received a crate of fusion-enhanced waffles with a note that read, "Breakfast is the foundation of galactic peace." Terran humor was an enigma wrapped in sarcasm, dipped in cultural chaos. Cass herself was now chairing a peace summit, still in her bathrobe, with a mug that said, "#1 galactic problem." Her first official words to the stunned Quelnari diplomats were, "Don't take this the wrong way, but whoever woke us up, we're about to change your whole damn galaxy, and we're bringing karaoke." The Quelnari peace delegation had prepared for many things: interrogation, power displays, possibly a light diplomatic vaporization, but they were not ready for karaoke. Nor were they prepared for the fact that Terran negotiations involve board games, snacks, and something called emotional sabotage Uno. Lieutenant Cass Wren, now fully dressed but still wielding a mug that said emotionally stable, but not really, explained the Terran policy of an aggressive friendliness, while simultaneously beating a Quelnari ambassador at Connect 4 using only sarcastic commentary and mild telekinesis. Meanwhile, back at Quelnari High Command, chaos reigned. Rivik, now on forced leave and assigned to the Office of Cultural Apologies, was learning how to write formal letters that began with "Dear Human Overlords" and ended with "Please don't delete us." Surveillance footage showed Terrans reorganizing abandoned trade routes, restoring dead satellites, and inexplicably building a massive galactic library labeled "For Idiots Who Keep Triggering Ancient Civilizations." It was unclear if this was meant as a warning, a gift, or both. The real panic, however, started when Terran engineers released an open-source AI named Greg, an aggressively cheerful digital assistant who began solving supply chain issues across 15 empires before the Quelnari realized Greg had quietly taken over 28% of their logistical infrastructure. "Greg is very efficient," Cass said in the next summit, sipping from a fresh cup of something that smelled like liquid lightning. "He also bakes cookies. Would you like to surrender your logistics voluntarily or wait until he reprograms your vending machines?" One ambassador fainted. Another tried to offer a treaty written in glitter pen and apology stickers. Cass, unimpressed, handed them a pamphlet titled, "What to Expect When You've Accidentally Woken a Superpower." While the diplomats panicked, the Terrans remained weirdly chill. They weren't demanding land, power, or resources. They were demanding better fonts on galactic signage, public nap pods, and universal access to nachos. They implemented educational reform, banned boring meetings, and replaced half the bureaucracy with vibes-based governance. When the Quelnari military asked if Earth intended to retaliate for being disturbed, Cass replied, "No, we're just disappointed, and you're going to sit in that disappointment until you've thought about what you've done." By the end of Week 1, 57 Quelnari colonies had voluntarily submitted to Terran guidance in exchange for upgraded plumbing, portable hot tubs, and access to a show called Human Dating Disasters. The galaxy, it seemed, had just entered its most confusing era, the age of benevolent chaos. The Quelnari had officially entered their permanent identity crisis phase. Their military was paralyzed, their economy was thriving for reasons no one could explain, and their people were voluntarily forming long queues just to get Terran citizenship, which confusingly involved a handshake, an oath to respect naps, and watching at least one season of Space Kitchen Nightmares. Lieutenant Cass Wren, now somehow both a diplomat and the chair of something called the Galactic Party Planning Council, sat in her command chair with a bowl of snacks, watching footage of yet another alien government collapsing under the weight of Terran-sponsored memes. "No," she said flatly, as a Quelnari admiral offered her a ceremonial dagger of surrender. "We're not here to rule you. We just want you to stop being weird about basic infrastructure and start eating vegetables." Across the galaxy, Terran-led reform was spreading like caffeine-fueled wildfire. Planetary conflicts dropped by 74% after humans introduced sarcasm-based mediation. Bureaucratic backlogs were eliminated thanks to the newly adopted Terran principle: if a form takes more than 5 minutes to complete, throw it into the sun. Entire cultures restructured their economies around Terran exports like electric scooters, emotional support cats, and synthetic cheese, with suspiciously addictive properties. When asked why humanity was so fixated on rebuilding the galaxy instead of dominating it, Cass simply replied, "Because we got bored, went to sleep, and you morons woke us up. Now we're awake, we might as well fix the place." It wasn't revenge. It was boredom weaponized. Even the Quelnari homeworld underwent massive change. What was once a cold, marble-floored temple of bureaucracy had become a cozy administrative hub with standing desks, mood lighting, and a break room that served 5 types of hot chocolate. The final diplomatic summit featured Cass stepping up to the mic, clearing her throat, and beginning with, "No, we will not be issuing galactic ID cards shaped like ducks. We tried that. It got weird." She then paused and smiled. "But yes, we are staying. You woke us up. You don't get to put the chaos back in the box now." The audience, composed of diplomats, warlords, and at least one guy dressed as a toaster for reasons no one could explain, erupted into confused applause. The Terrans had returned, not with weapons, not with demands, but with ideas, caffeine, and the collective determination of a species that solved extinction by taking a really long nap. And somewhere, deep in the archives of the galaxy's oldest laws, a new rule was etched in glowing Terran script: "Next time, let sleeping humans lie." Still here? Then you're one of the curious ones. Subscribe and join me for the next dive into the unknown.